the town will make me adjust that
That's
price.
Section 8. I'm talking about your standard rent for any resident is $1,200. That's what you're gonna do, right?
Well, if they
Each unit
could
is
get
$1,200.
more money for the units, they're not gonna turn it away.
I'm saying you're offering $1,200, one-bedroom apartments, 800 square feet. That's what you're offering. That's what you said before.
That is correct.
Okay, and I'm saying to you, tell me where on Long Island one bedrooms go for much less than that. That's not considered low. When I say low income, I'm saying this is the base. Then houses, then one bedroom homes go up from there, 14, 16, 18, 2,000, depending where you're at.
Affordable units if you were gonna build an affordable job, the town would depress those units
To what?
even further.
What would the rent be?
800, 750.
Where is that at?
Yes.
You look in Newsday any day, okay?
I've asked you what.
I'll bring it to your house tomorrow.
What complex is selling $800?
That complex, you asked what one bedroom unit.
I said for a development like this. This is what we're talking. Not for somebody's house of renting a room.
Well, you're comparing it to a room. You said people are renting $200 room.
I gave you examples.
Let's compare apples to apples.
So we are
These are brand new, high security, well maintained, with a landlord and a management company that's going to be on that site 24/7.
Facility on site.
So you're assuming from the past, not with what I take care
Not
of,
only do
what I
people
do.
have their unit, they have use of the community facility on top.
You're in a la-la land right now.
Why don't you build
Okay.
But what we're looking at is the fact that you're bringing in a lot of families in a
So you're
small
going to the lowest
area.
cost provider. That's the whole difference.
That is one reason.
For every one person, they're gonna bring
everything
3
to
and 4
promote
people.
your argument.
Why didn't you
Not
make
the-
it?
Because
I'm not
the
going
manager.
because
Why
I
didn't you make the
know
rooms
for a
go
fact
inside?
that's
Because
happening
From all the
outside.
complexes that don't
Yes.
have.
Families there.
No, one bedroom
Yes,
rooms.
that's gonna
All right,
happen.
so let's say.
1,400.
Ask the question, let me answer that. You want to answer and answer?
I'm just asking, you
Ask
mentioned
the
it out.
question, I'm going to answer it, because we didn't want large families there.
No, one bedroom apartments with,
One bedroom
that
apartments don't go on large
are
families.
1,200 or 1,400 square feet
This is
versus
for-
800.
This is what the project is for. It's for senior citizens, senior couples, or senior singles. That's what it's for.
It's 55 and older. That's not 65 is senior citizens.
The 55 is what the town code
55,
says.
I
ISO
know.
says
It's
52.
senior living, okay? And right, it's a distinction, okay? It's not like you can't, anybody just can't go up into Dominican Village that's at any age, okay? Listen, you want to know, listen, the town, listen.
You're making something that's
I'll
not
tell you,
valid.
listen, I'll say something that's brought at the board meeting. The board meeting wanted to know why you guys didn't reach out to us before you even proposed to do this plan.
We
Okay,
did.
now,
We did.
no, before that town meeting, okay?
That's not true, we did.
I know, I've never heard anybody saying they knew anything about
What's
this until you got
what's the
presented.
gentleman that's, I forgot the name of the gentleman's name of the Civic Association?
Andrew Whitmire. Before, listen,
He's saying before the planning
before
board
the
hearing.
plan, before this, everything, the board said this to you guys at the town meeting, you should have went to the residents first to see how they would feel about this. Now we're doing it after the fact, after you spent a whole lot of money getting all this stuff. But the point
I
is,
understand, by the
you
time
would have
it
knew
got
about
to
this
planning
before.
board, by the time it got to planning, a lot had happened. I mean, we started with a job planning, said add this, add that. The job got
bigger and
redesigned a number of times before we ever presented to planning board. I didn't hear from traffic safety, engineering, environmental control, the building department, the fire safety department. So before we ever got to the point where we had a plan to present to planning board, we were in the process 2 years.
I know.
All right, so let's say,
2011. And the town, first time anybody knew about this is August for the meeting for 2012. Then we realized what you guys are doing.
If you knew in advance of the planning board hearing, I would have welcomed the call.
Well,
but at that point, my job kept
the town
changing.
said this to you. You should have reached out to.
Town never said that.
Town never said that.
Never said that.
At the meeting, they brought it up. At the town
But
board
not the
meeting.
commissioner, maybe the chair lady said it.
Well,
During
somebody
the
said it.
meeting,
Why does it
they
matter?
said it.
Why
It was not told to us
Anne-Marie
before.
Jones.
Listen, I'm not saying that you can do what you want to do with the town, how you operate. I'm just telling you that
But
you
they're
would have
misleading
known.
you.
You would have known the objections way beforehand if you did that. If you did, that's what Mr. was saying to you. You wouldn't have had people coming down to the hall. You wouldn't have had petitions, over 300 signatures on a petition, or 90% plus of the community telling you, we do not want it. It's like you're not listening. We don't want build homes. If you want it, you said homes don't sell. But that's not my fault. Okay? All I know is that you're going to decrease my value. You can't tell me
That's not true either.
You can't tell me
That's
having.
not true either.
You can't tell me having
You're saying
a wooden
something that's
area.
not true.
You can't tell me having a wooden area property behind my house. okay, which was sold to me as a selling point when I bought my house 8 years ago. Somehow,
What about if I decide, what about if my mother decides to cut down the woods?
okay, that's fine. She cut down the woods.
There's the end of your woods, so what, I don't understand the point.
Well, she can't cut them all down, but she wants to cut them.
Yes,
She can cut down all the woods if she wants to
Well,
cut down the woods.
We think it's a fire hazard
Listen.
personally, because a lot of the trees back there are dead.
Listen, well, those woods have been there for
I know how
decades.
long they've been there.
I don't
Never
think
built up. Nobody's
You're
ever-
You're worrying about it now. I lived in this ward for a couple years,
Listen,
and
I'll
no one
take
even
it-
comes to clean
I
up the
will take-
area. I go in the woods and clean up all the garbage.
You won't
I
have
don't
anything to
see
clean
it,
up with this
but how come
development
you
there.
didn't do it before? You own the property, how come you didn't take care of it?
Well,
I
that's
go
why
in
we
there and
don't
pick
want
up the
all of the
garbage.
crops. That's why we don't
And
want
how
all
many
of the
times
crops.
have I called? I think I've spoken to you a couple of years ago, and I've asked how come. Your people came and cleaned it up. Yes, the town came and they said, oh, there's too much stuff back there. What happened 2 years ago? Oh, we'll have to assess the property. No one ever comes to clean it up. I go in the woods, I go in and
Well,
pick
we
up
don't
all
own
the
the woods.
garbage.
Well,
What are you talking about weed cleaning?
But you leave,
there won't be any woods
yeah,
there.
you don't
How
worry.
long would it take?
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
there's
it's,
this
that's what
project
you
that-
how come you didn't worry about it before? You're talking
To me,
about, oh, my
actually
mother
do the
cut down the
construction.
woods. You don't care about it
About
now.
15 months.
I mentioned that
It's
because you
different.
said you bought the home
But
because
the
of
point
nature.
is, listen, if you want to cut down, I'll take that over this.
This is going circular here, you know?
You don't think
Going
by that
circular.
time,
It's not going
home
Listen,
will be
if you
selling better?
Are you
What our
telling,
community is against you putting.
you don't realize, like, you're not acknowledging that
Yeah,
the community
That's
does
what
not
we're
want this?
against.
I
They're
think
parking.
that's what.
I mean,
Okay, now, we
Residential
acknowledge
residential.
that the two of
The
them.
petition that, no, the petition that was
It's not
signed,
consent.
what did that petition clearly state?
You know,
Well, I'm just asking, I mean, it's a simple question, do you realize that?
This is a simple response, if you give a chance for a response to happen. This is going very circular, only because you made the point, and you repeated the point, much of which we don't feel is true. So we have a disagreement, and that's
You
okay.
disagree that the town, that the people that signed that petition,
No, we
90% of the community does not want it.
No, we disagree.
People in the Dominican village don't want
When
it.
you say we're disagreeing, who are you speaking for?
Well, we disagree with your representation of it, because you say it's for low income, it's not. You say it's going to be for many people in an apartment, it's not. So you're making some
I
assumptions.
said, many people in an apartment,
No, you said there'll be
80?
children in there, you said there'll be people that are not
No, I
saying.
said wait, I'll clear it up real quick.
I
I said
believe
you're
you
at
said.
95% capacity for that area. You're allowed to put up to 85
I
units by the
think at this
town.
point, we've exhausted it.
Is that correct? You're at 81. You are almost 95%.
It is done,
That
the
doesn't matter.
density of this job is less than the town.
No, I'm talking about what you're allowed to put in there. 85 units is the max. You're at 81. You're at 95.2%.
We've also kicked out extra land. This is an
I-
oversized
I-
lot,
they
this
have
is an
all the
oversized
land
lot,
back
this
there.
is an
I-
oversized lot, this is an oversized lot.
It doesn't, what does that do with my property?
You were promised
They're
goods when
being
you
sold, they're
moved
making
into
money
your
on
house.
this. You
I
have to
don't know
buy
why
from
the
them.
broker
Randy,
told
you're in
you.
contract with both of those.
Those woods
for
could
Mr.
come down
Path
at
to
any
finalize
time.
your deal for those properties.
I'm sorry, sir.
You don't, you
Those
have woods
properties-
behind your
those two
house, the broker
properties-
promised you, you said you relied on
Those
it
two
when you bought your
properties,
house.
excuse me, this
I
is one of the
wish you-
reasons, okay? I know, okay, it's a house I wanted, okay? I said, if I had something like this behind the house, there's no way I would have ever bought a house with something like this behind it. I'm not gonna live
You
behind
said
a
you wanted the
project
woods,
area.
the woods could be
It's not a
removed at
project.
any time.
It's not a
It's
project.
not a project, it's
a
not
senior
low
citizen
income housing.
It's
You
55 and
characterize
that
it
can be
incorrectly.
changed at any time. Is there any law, how about this? I asked you this question at the courthouse, at the town hall. Is
I
there
think we've
anything that,
exhausted
no,
this now.
is there
Does
any?
anybody have
excuse me.
any questions?
I do.
If I've answered the
Wait a
question
second.
already to you,
I
I've
want-
answered the question
Chris,
already.
I just wanna make
All
sure
we're doing is
Listen,
filling
you
up extra
contradicted
air.
a couple of things
I
that were
think at this
said.
point,
You're
we're kind of,
interrupting.
no. I think at this point, for
Can
the sake
you
of
answer
everybody
the
else
question?
that's
Is any
here,
law that stops you
because-
changing the designation of 55 and older? Is anything that stops you from doing that?
is that you would have to go back to the town and rezone the property all over again.
No, once it's already built, people are in this.
You would have to
anything that stops
rezone it
Just
again.
answer
The law is, there is a separate zone for senior from non-senior. So if you wanted to change it, you would have to go back to the town hall and file an application to rezone the property all over again. And you know what? The density figures for non-senior are a lot lower than senior. Senior can build 25 for an acre. So you would need a boatload of variances in terms of density. And the setbacks are different, and the parking is different, everything is
If
different.
that's the case,
So
you take
you
it back
need
to
to
the town.
go
I'll
through,
take your word for that, so you take it back to the town. But there's nothing from day one, once it's built, that puts it in stone, you can never change it.
to the
You
extent,
always, the door is
to
open,
the
right?
extent anybody can put something in stone. It's there by virtue of how the code reads.
But I just want to be clear, there's nothing that stops it after it's built, and you have this
Yeah,
55.
you're not
you can
allowed
always,
to
the
do
door's
it.
open,
You
right?
could,
Well,
you
put
could
it this way,
apply
the
to
cost to do
rezone
it would
any
be cost
property.
prohibitive
You
to
could
do that, though.
you could apply to rezone any property on this island. You could apply to rezone any property in this country, but you'd have to do it. You'd have to do it.
Have other complexes done it?
To rezone from some to another?
I'm sure.
If over the years, can I tell you that that hasn't happened? On occasion it has. But can I tell you that everyone has been approved? No. A lot of them have not been approved. There's a public hearing process and they would tell people no. Or they would tell people, look, if you want to do that, you got to reduce your density. Because you don't have, now have too many units because you see, people apply and get denied. To convert, people apply and they have to make adjustments to their site, incorporate additional land, find some place to put additional parking. It's not there for the asking. It's not there for the asking. You have to go through the process. You have to make it work.
Yes, the Thea Bowman complex, okay, that's on Schlegel. Do you compare that, do you feel this is comparable property to this?
It depends on how you would talk about comparable.
As far as clientele?
I think that's a handicap facility, is it
That's
not?
correct.
You know, this site is not designed to be solely handicapped occupancy. Thea Bowman is, I believe, designed to be solely for handicapped individuals. You know, this is designed for seniors. Some of those people may have issues, some of them may not. But not everybody would be designed for it. If I was designing a facility solely for handicapped, my whole parking
But
configuration
why was
changes.
this used as a comparable property in the appraisal of Michael Lynch?
Michael Lynch is only looking at one issue and one issue alone, and that is the effect of multifamily housing adjacent single-family homes. He is not looking at it in terms of his parking calculations, in terms of its overall site layout, or in terms of how the site functions. Those are different issues. A traffic engineer would look at that site very differently. He would say, you know what, if you have a complex for everybody who's handicapped, why don't you have 100% handicapped parking? Because now everybody should have a spot that fits them. I don't believe that site does, but he would look at it very different. An appraiser would say, and could look at his complexes in Lyndhurst, and say, let's look at the home sales prices adjacent his complex over there, or adjacent other complexes. Did the fact that the facility was built have any effect on the sales prices of people's homes? He may also look and say, how much money is this going to generate in taxes, and how much of a demand on governmental services is there going to be? In other words, on single-family housing, typically we're in the red. On multifamily housing, typically we're in the black, because you generate more money than you actually consume in terms of services, particularly for the schools. And one of the reasons the town wanted the smaller units, they didn't want that. They didn't want the demand on the school system from kids in the units. They wanted smaller units to make it more so that wouldn't happen.
Well, let me throw something out. What about if I shrink the project to half? Compromise it.
Half unit?
No, in other words, I won't purchase this property, I won't purchase this property, we'll just keep it right here.
What he's saying is we would go back to where we started
units.
before the planning commission asked us to do that.
So you're happy, I'm happy, less people, less units.
It stays from this point here, though, you know, some of these units have parking over the line, so I need to adjust. We have plans on it.
All right, so
Same
what is
gate?
this? What is this
What?
right there?
You say that that gate.
Oh, yeah.
These are units.
Well, I don't know, there might not be no fire exit,
But the
because
line comes
this
here.
woman's property is
Yeah, I
right
can't do
here.
the fire exit.
I
The fire
won't-
exit.
No, it'll be, I don't even get involved, I don't go nowhere near you, because the property line is
Their property tracks way back.
right
The
here,
property line comes back.
right here. I won't buy this piece or these two pieces, be the still same entrance, it'll be just concentrated right here. At least I get what I want, you got what you want, it's smaller, a little
If
more
you want to
control.
see what those plans would look like, we have them.
I know we're,
There's a house right here, that house is coming down. Yes, that house is coming down.
That's the house that's boarded up. That's
Yes,
the
that's
boarded
coming
up.
down.
make that
So
into
That's
someone
the
else could buy
entrance
it,
and
that's,
exit.
they're right, I guess someone else could still buy that.
Well, that's a good, I'm glad you said that, because then you're saying, okay, you would even contemplate changing your thing. So I guess what we're saying as a community, okay, we still want the zone for what it is. Like, I understand what you're saying, but the fact that you didn't say that as a possibility, it interests me that you didn't said that.
Well,
okay?
remember, we started there.
That's what we started.
That's where we started.
You have to understand, when we started this, and when you were talking about going out to the community first, we didn't know what the plan was going to be. The town changed it on us from what our original conception was. We conceived of it just as
this.
the town asked for it.
Okay, well,
The town asked
as I
us
said
to do
before,
it.
that's why I feel like we're not just against you. It sounds like we're uphill battle with
If
the
we
town.
went back
But
to
the
our
town,
original
the town
plan.
pushed it out more for you guys.
Well,
Gave you
if you landlocked, you really can't.
Okay, do it
I
bigger.
mean, you gotta
But
remember, we have a lot of
You're
more
not
expense. We
gonna
gotta buy
buy-
land. I got
You
more
know.
construction
Buy
costs.
this? Is this
I got
gentleman over here?
engineering. He
Or the
could
one
buy
that
that.
had the other.
That's the only one who can buy that.
That's the
I
only.
can tell you.
The other homeowners, they can't sell anything because their land is too small. My mother is the only one that has a piece of property that's wide enough to be sold. So the others, if he does what he just suggested, as far as I can see, they can't sell their land back there. Would that be accurate?
Well, what they would have to do is take down these houses and try and get a smaller version of what, this plot's wide enough you could do a street. You couldn't do a real street on 120 feet. Could you do some kind of paper road? It's possible, but that they would have to make the applications to the town to do it if and when. The town wanted to curtail that possibility by putting this land into this facility. If we cut it loose, then it leaves that lot back to
Well,
where it is.
that's the concern of the residents, okay, as far as what the town, what you guys want, as you said, and what the town wants. It seems like we're dealing with a two-pronged thing, is that we clearly want, the residents, okay, clearly want to stay residential as a zone, okay, that doesn't change, okay? But
And it's an all or nothing
but we're
it's an all or
saying-
nothing.
We're saying you could develop the land, but you don't want to put houses there, okay,
Right.
but that's what it's zoned for.
I mean, I think the issue is my clients just offered scaling the project back considerably. If that's not something that's acceptable to
Because
you.
we don't want the land down zone. I'm just saying, it's only interest in the fact that you even suggested something like that, okay, but we don't want the land down
Well,
zone.
I gotta live, I'm never selling this. So I gotta live with the neighbors. So that's how I have good relationship with all my
Yeah,
neighbors.
this is suggestion you live in
I
this
was
project
misunderstanding. Similar to this.
You own this property?
No, we're gonna be partners, but I'm the developer and I'm gonna manage it.
Okay,
Correct.
so you're.
I'm the day-to-day guy.
It's what's called a joint
I
venture.
cut the grass,
The
I do
Lagoon family
repairs,
owns the
I'm gonna have
property.
in-house
Mr. Genie
management
has
in there,
developed other properties elsewhere in
monitoring
the
every
town.
concern. That's why when you're saying people are gonna be hanging out there, there's a super on the site, looking at the cameras. And if there's anybody there, he's gonna call the police. He ain't gonna go out there and
Quite frankly,
hassle nobody.
The only reason that we took Mr. Giannini is because we know that's what's going to happen. You know,
His mom's still gonna live there.
When you talk about the houses that you're talking about, where there are slumlords and things of that nature, yes, I guess things like that can happen. That's not what we're anticipating happening. No one can ultimately say whatever will happen, but the likelihood of that happening is so far remote that we don't feel it's a likelihood.
Okay, but see, that's, I
My
guess.
mother, we wouldn't have, keep in mind, my cousin has a business right there.
The
Who would be
funeral.
harmed worse? The business would be harmed worse if if this turned out to
But
be
you
a
know, your
slum.
business is gonna be harmed by this, because I know a lot of people that said that, you know, they probably would not use your funeral home just for the fact that you're behind this. I mean, I'm just being honest with you.
I don't agree
I
with
mean, I'm
that.
not saying, listen, I never, like I said, I'm just being honest with you that
Well, I
what
guess the
people
folks
say.
that you have
Yes,
spoken to, right?
I mean-
They might not have used it before anyway, so.
Okay,
The family's still
We're
on
in the
the
family.
Listen, I mean, but since you said harming your
Not
business,
religion.
okay? Since you brought up the harm to your business,
I didn't,
okay?
I said it wouldn't harm the business.
I know, you wouldn't want something to harm your business, I'm saying the project itself.
My
Okay, and I'll
cousin's
tell you this
business,
one,
fine.
it could harm your business if it turns into a bad area. And I understand you may have a great reputation, okay? But we cannot take that chance as a community, because we have to live with the end product. He doesn't have to live with it.
The only point I'm trying to make,
You know,
the only
we have to
point
live with it.
the only point I'm trying to make is, so does my family.
We actually,
We're even closer to
there's
it than
another
you are.
dumpster here. we
She's
live
right on
in.
top of it.
Your mother, okay, got the many decades of living there, right? Of living in a quiet area, nothing, okay, you know, back there in peace and quiet, okay?
We don't think that's gonna change.
I'm not gonna be for, there's no way, listen, outside of security, you can't,
But let me
a hundred car parking
scale
lot,
back and
90,
present
whatever you scaled it down to, you took out those spots over there.
I think we'd be scaled down almost in half.
We adjusted the parking configuration, we got rid of what was behind the house, we added a little parking here.
But But we're not touching, but we're not touching that area.
There, I'm telling you, that won't be happening.
No.
Also, I don't know.
My
if you
guy's
guys,
coming through the front.
The police department,
There's no way.
they park their car right in that area.
We will never go, my maintenance guys will never go back there.
Listen,
There's no reason.
this is.
Excuse me, where are your other areas, where are your other developments
One's,
that?
they're both on Montauk, there's ones that are similar on Montauk.
Okay, all
Montauk
right.
Both of them are
Right
on
next to
Montauk
Wellwood,
Highway.
and the other one is about,
South 13th Street, and another one on Washington Avenue, 1 block east of Wellwood Avenue.
What town are these?
Village of Lindenhurst, both in the village.
right on
And you
Montauk.
can,
One on Montauk
And they
Highway,
both
of them
east
are
on the
houses.
left-hand side.
they're both on the north side.
Yeah.
Both on the north side. The village.
Okay.
And
What do you
see-
think
and
about
you'll see how he keeps them
Randy,
up.
what I was just saying too is that,
The
I'm
village.
trying to say that,
Why don't you see the ones he has in the similar?
The
views?
bodies.
I've been to this whole
I don't
website, that's
rent
why
to
nobody
anybody.
asks.
Well, you can even look at them, they're not far from you.
I know.
I don't want to have that
Going
going
to
to
the one that's off the
the
water.
I do a
It's
very
different-
strict,
What is the
Well, the comparison is that area,
income
okay,
check,
with the house
credit
over
check.
there, okay?
I don't rent to anybody.
That's a
A lot of people
different
don't rent to anybody
The-
so that they have bodies.
The company
Yeah, what type
was
of buyer?
designed as a
Okay.
water.
I don't do that.
It's a different type of.
But the point is still, you're offering a higher end product. If you even, what I'm saying, a lot of people feel offended that you offer such a low end product, and it said, I'm not talking about the look.
No,
I'm talking
look
about
at the two products that we just told you, that it's similar to it, and see if you have the same opinion.
I don't know, I'd like to know the neighbors, the adjacent neighbors, and who has to live in the backyard.
The houses are right next door to it.
Okay?
The houses are right next door to it.
What I'm saying to
But
you
we
is that,
can, you obviously.
you have, how many parking lots do you have proposed right now?
Parking spots?
Spots.
Parking spots.
With this revision. So
Well, I don't know if you can give it to me
you
exactly.
had 110 before, so you
No, we
scaled
don't
it
have
down.
Yeah, no, it's.
But
You had 110,
We
you
have
took out
one
the
parking,
front,
we're about
front
1
end.
for 5, I think.
You lost about 5, so you still.
No, yeah, I mean, we're down a
So,
little bit. We made up for it by shifting some
All right,
onto
so
the
that-
access drive.
You had 110, that was on the initial thing, so still had
We're down a
110
little
basically.
bit.
Or down to 100.
say 100.
I say 100, all right, for the argument's sake, it's 100, okay? Do you have any idea in this little compact area, why would there be 100 cars parked there? How much exhaust that
It's over 3
generates?
acres.
How much exhaust that
None.
generates pollution?
I suggest you go to a community that has 100 houses, stay around there, see how many cars move
Who
around.
wants that in their backyard? Would you want that in your backyard? Would you like to see 100 cars? You realize I walk on my deck at 6 foot high, 6 foot high fence. I can wait till all the neighborhoods. I'll go up here and show you exactly how.
Well, it's designed so
You're
the
not-
houses, they face each
You're not
other.
gonna even see all the parking.
It was designed so they face each other.
Somebody's on the other side of building.
Take a look.
I'll show you exactly, okay? You come off my house, this is my house, this is my deck. I've been on the satellite view, so I know exactly the layout, okay? I have direct line of view sight of everybody here. All these homes here, I can wait till all my new neighbors, hey, how you doing, from my deck, okay? They're all here, okay? I have all 50 cars, lots, in my direct view. Who wants that? I look at woods right now, now I gotta come out my
I understand
backyard.
your-
Also, this I'm upset
you like the
about,
woods.
you have this foliage, whatever, okay? This can be penetrated through.
You happen to live in
There's
the area where I
nothing-
can do the most to the berm. I can raise it, I can further sawtooth it. I
It's
can
a
make it more than it is
That's a
now.
sewer height, and that doesn't improve the property value. That was the whole point of asking for the appraisal of my
I
place.
understand you
He
like
didn't
the
assess
woods.
that.
You bought the house because of the woods.
He made a comparison to Thane Boundary and the appraisal.
What he did.
But he also
did it
said,
the way
no,
that
but
he's supposed to
he
do
said
it.
that the new homes in the Oaks, when they were built, okay, it didn't affect the property values over there. Okay, Thane Bowman, besides the type of residence it has and how quiet it is and Catholic Charity, okay, but he also made a point to say that, show the distances and the gaps between as to show the buffering is similar, okay? So what I'm saying to you, if you go back to Thane Bowman, if you decide to take a picture of, you got 25 evergreens lining that, plus it's been there all the time. That's 20-foot high, fully grown evergreens, taller than the building, all back there on Thane Bowman.
If you wanted
But that's-
to increase the landscape
And
in this
the
area,
CPL
I will send it to you.
20-foot high, fully grown and evergreens. This is not, this is
If
not.
there is nothing, okay, let me,
It's not high
it's not easy to get to make you happy, then putting additional trees on my highway, get on Wellwood Avenue. If you said, put the additional trees in, let me see it, all right, make a left, do something.
And make it personal. You'll see right here.
I
I'll go
can't-
back to my architect,
Listen,
but you're not
I-
telling me that.
We told you before that we didn't want to see it at all.
And you're still saying that now.
You know, and we still are going to see it.
And you said 8 years old. We have addressed it beyond what one code requires.
Listen, why don't you could,
You're also telling me there's nothing that
you could buy this land here, you could have everything closer to Albany.
I don't recall that the Albany map, no.
I'm just saying, that's an option.
At this point now, to go back, no, it's not an
I'm
option.
just,
You can pull right in.
I'm saying if you want to do something, I mean,
I can't go back to those.
all I
They're
can
trying to accommodate you, but you're not giving them a chance to.
all I can do, all right, just so you know, I already pre-announced it, but it's,
Let
I
me
looked
ask
at
you
the
another
other
question.
this is not new.
What if I cut the end off the building? What if I took the units at this side of the building and I got rid of them? Okay, I just got rid of these units over here, so I left half a building. I got a big grass field over there. I don't need this park. I'm gonna take it like this. I am going to put more landscaping.
They call me Mr. Because
I think whatever I say.
What I'm saying to you, okay,
Yeah, no, if I got rid of
and I'm on the property.
units here,
all
right?
these neighbors not happy about this, all your neighbors here
Well,
are not
my
happy.
marijuana,
I mean, I can look at this, I mean, just so you know, as a resident, okay, as a homeowner, okay, how I felt when I saw this. Now this, you know, not that you had intentions, but the level of disrespect that I took personally is that you thought, no, you didn't even like, if you want these units in, you didn't even set something up where you backed in, even in these properties, these are facing the back of your comment. I have to face all your residents. I gotta face rows of cars. I know that
I don't even want this.
the town, but if you, even, I'm saying, even for the purposes of design purposes, even your initial proposal, just show
You see the proposals that actually make it on file in the town hall.
Forget about it.
By the time you see it in
Well,
the
I mean, I
town hall.
understand, but within our neighborhood, we have people that deal drugs, they
I
use
had
that.
a brother in
brother-in-law,
law for about 15
we
years.
have
I know
different
that.
45, so I mean, we've dealt with it all the time.
There's a lot of
So we dealt with all,
But these people who are back then, these people are gonna get what I have. Okay, they get to look at woods. So you take away what I have and you give it to them. Okay, now they have a nice, beautiful renters. Renters have a nice, paying $12,000 a
If
month.
the town let me close the access gate, I could put the building back.
No,
They won't let me do that.
what I want to explain, because since you guys are putting this out here as a community, you have to understand, agree with, I'm not just sharing my thing, I'm telling you what other residents,
What is
okay?
it, what is it that can be done with this? What is it that can be done with this that you feel would not block
They
you
need height.
doing something?
Every building needs
What
height.
all I'm saying is that where you proposed it was not even.
No, I'm asking, what is it that you think
The
would be
only
done?
thing, the stance, like I said, it doesn't change going in down zone, if you want to build on the house. I mean, that
right,
doesn't
but that's
change.
your own
Well, that's
neighbors
not
and
gonna happen.
with
So
your
let's
own
don't
self
go
to
to
making that garbage
What
there. So
what
you're
can
picking
happen
up
here to
your
make
concerns and your
it
Because I'm
more
there by
adaptable
my.
No, but I'm saying,
Okay.
you're
Like I
getting
said,
upset because
if
somebody
you don't
built
want to,
it.
I can't, there's nothing you can do as a proposed, it's everything, only thing you can put up at the town board, we pushed everything up to the, right on Albany, okay, that's what you said, but no, but the point is, but no, this part
It's not
here,
even
we're
the fact
talking
that
about
the
if you
neighbors are
want
coming
here,
and
you could,
dumping.
that's what
I
you
didn't see
said.
that dumping, but you said the women going to the garbage that's already there.
I thought
about
that
it,
you
you know.
tried to cut the line.
I thought I climbed up right in front of the gate, so I remember
They have
going.
there's 18,000 square feet here that's not having anything built on it.
So I never called town again to come clean it
I
up.
gotta
But
go
that
back
is
and
try
try
to- For a certain amount of feet,
But the
that's what you
overall,
told me.
so this again, the overall concern is what
I
this
don't control
Well,
that.
represents.
they normally
You know, honestly, you probably, maybe you would have got a better appreciation if you came in there with luxury apartments, maybe 30 units. I mean, this is an example that people are offended that you want to pack in this many people in this small area. You're maxing out at 95%.
I like people.
It's
We don't,
it's-
if we develop this, we don't put that on.
You can't go
He's got my
over,
word.
you can't go over.
It's not the one.
We didn't make them
You
small.
changed the gate.
Well, it's just smaller than what's going on.
You can only do 85 for this area. I spoke to the town, it's 85 units, you're 81, you're 95%. For that area. Regardless of how you range it,
That's why I want to make the project small.
Initially, it was first in the was going to be a much smaller. The town that they didn't have the old development, so they asked them to make it larger. That's what they did. That's the other day. And when I saw back in that, they said yes, and that's why they did.
You accommodate the town, but you also increase your property, and you're getting more, you're getting obviously more income. What I'm trying to say to you.
Well, income for us, it's also buildings.
But unless the town says 85, Christie Wise, she says 85 max that can be in the area you want right now. They're at 80.
Back then, I could have cut the line here. I don't think I should do that.
No, it's not.
You can say that very easily, but cut it over here, and then it's 60, you can say it's
65. It's what you can do right now. You're proposing 95%. The problem is you're packing in. I said to you, I'm telling you about perception. I'm telling you that people view this. If I'm paying people paying, like, and then you allow people to move in at $1,200 a month plus Section 8 in your house.
You'll never see us anywhere near.
It's 20% required.
You will see
If you could, it doesn't, but even that, but listen, Section 8 is great for you guys, it's guaranteed check, you want to run down your renters. Section 8.
They don't have that at all. The town asked for that.
I read,
The building is going to be paid by the
I think there's other I understand you saying does not.
In other words, the building takes more money.
At the beginning of the job, not spread all the time. Give the town a dedicated.
Oh, yeah, they do, they do require their
We
land.
don't know how that works.
But you are a situation.
I'm not
Okay,
You
still.
understand what we're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
That's the backyard.
But that's what.
As long as it's in all, they go
Change.
But right near my development, what time?
Financial things such as your function. Why would you do
We know
that?
it's my sister.
That's guaranteed.
Nice.
They pay like $1,200
And eventually,
My other daughter, she's there.
that's common.
Okay, good night. I'm gonna go check it out.
I can send it to you.
And,
I'm sorry, stay.
just call me if you have any questions.
Sure.
Right now.
You're saying is that
It's not.
they're not, if somebody's going to pay that money, make sure that they don't have affordable housing.
Good night. Bye.
They're not going to pay affordable housing.
It's the units itself. Like we have this, I call this basically the unit, so we get one bedroom apartment like this apartment. You're basically at the bottom end of the scale. Not the top end of the scale, not in the middle. You're pretty much at $1,200.
What is that?
At $1,200 for one bedroom.
That's your bonus.
They can't, because I know the prices of apartments, they go for way more. Other than that,
You want that to apply, so you think you have the solutions that have houses.
Oh, I did.
listen, going out for the richest neighborhood, people are doing that. It doesn't matter, that's going on for that. Long Island, for 40 years, okay? In certain neighborhoods, they'll allow people with, still put 25 people in the house and packing it. Okay? I used to see it firsthand. People stand out against that. We won't allow that to go. That's where the game trying to say to is a lot of houses. Long Island has a bad,
That's your street.
Hello.
I think you've got a point. That it seems like very difficult for you to absorb anything that we're saying or really have any impact. I suggested that you try to give us a design that you think would work out well for you in terms of your view, and then see if the builder can accommodate it.
Yeah, item two.
As opposed to just saying, well,
Let me just say, if you got rid of the end of this building and you had more linear space,
It's
just
just
build
not
a
me.
berm up there about 4 feet, maybe 5 feet. You put double row of plantings on top of a 4-foot berm, you have a 10-foot wall of green. The trees that are here, relatively soon, no matter what happens to this lot, those trees come down. On a complex like this, you can get a wall of green. On single-family housing, no, you're not gonna get that. You may
I
get a
have
pool,
no problem.
you may get a swimming pool 6 feet
I have
from
no
your
problem.
property.
I will take a neighbor any day, a backyard neighbor any day. Homeowner living there, behind me. I have no problem.
Now, are these their yards?
Okay?
Their little backyards?
Right.
Okay?
You're talking about how
You
many
would take one.
feet out,
You right here.
I would take a neighbor in my backyard. When they built,
They have a 6-foot patio.
Harmony Drive, you see the layout. Harmony Drive put a house here, backyard, house here, into a cul-de-sac here. 4 more houses line the back, all the houses on G. Okay? That's respectable. Okay? This project, like I said, you want to pack in 8, this is the maximum 85 units they can put here. They have it at 81, at 95% capacity of the area that they're going for building right now. By the town. Okay? This is coming from the town coordinator. Okay? All right? This is the max, basically maxed out the area, how many people they can put in this area. The problem,
that point is irrelevant, and I'll tell you why. Because if they wanted to build more, they could have taken more land and build more. If the suggestion is, why do you want to occupy as much space within the land you're buying?
Okay.
That makes no sense to
Can
do
I ask a
less.
question?
I mean, at one time I could
We
take
know
it
the
forward
town
to
is
the
gonna
building.
end up probably approving this, so let me ask a question.
That's why we have you here,
Let me
we want
ask-
we want to try to accommodate
What
everybody.
happens if
here.
these
We're
little
trying to-
yards were facing us with, and this was shrunk down?
I say that-
Lesser
say it
people.
again?
You see how these are yards, and you see how you have all these cars coming right into us, right? The lights.
Here's why
Now,
we're
how
going.
come this is not this way where their backyards are facing our
Well, the
yards?
lights are going into them. That's why we did, the lights are going into
Cars
them.
Oh, but when you come
cars
in-
drive, cars are
Right.
you hear cars driving through here. You got
If I
Why
Let me
doesn't
ask
this
you a
put
question.
The amount of
this
noise
towards
just
the,
if I
towards the
put it-
residential area, and this building
Who
or
wants
these
to make
buildings
cars
turn that way?
If I could say, if I
Wait,
could
do you live near a parking
So
lot?
it goes
I've lived in a community in the past, in
Well, I
Valley.
can look at that.
There's a
That's something I
hundred-
can look
That's
at.
a possibility.
I mean, that's a possibility I can
So
look
that
at.
those
I
yards,
can stand
the
in front of my
lights are
house,
not,
now these are families.
the lights
And
are
a
not
possibility
really
to make lesser
Just can't
different.
get one car.
These
around
yards
20
To a
minutes.
point, I mean, it's,
I think you're good.
I can, but you know, not on this size piece of
I'm not
Do you
judging
understand?
other
Do you
cars that
understand?
might potentially be filled in this lot.
Well, that'll agree,
Because
because
You know,
This
I mean,
side.
Because your
There's
appraiser,
people
how many
all
cars
the
are
way down
moving
to
at the same
Right.
time is where
This
you're.
lot.
the point is you have all these
I
cars.
cut loose
You've got
the land.
tons of
But
alarm
I
systems,
can't make that land
alarms
never have
beeping
been
everywhere.
on. You know,
It's
at some
noise
point,
pollution. It's
somebody
noise.
could file.
You hear,
You're exactly, now you're saying,
Oh, I thought you
alarm.
said
You're
it's
assuming
gonna be
people's car
locked.
alarms are gonna go
It
off.
is,
know,
if I get, if I'm gonna make less.
I'm just talking about you have
I'm gonna
all
want
these
those
hundreds
smaller
of
lots.
If the
So
town
that
has
means I'm not
they
buying the
turn this
backyards
building
of these
this
three
way, or a
houses.
building this way, and these
The planning
yards are
department
facing
wanted me to
our
do that,
yards,
so they
instead
wouldn't
of,
do it.
So I said before, you didn't even report when you
But
made
if
the
I'm gonna
proposal,
go,
you didn't
if
back
I'm
in
gonna
it.
make the
Like you gave them a
project
backyard,
smaller,
you gave them
the
woods,
land
you
becomes
gave everybody
smaller
the sunshine,
process.
okay?
You do
doesn't
have
matter,
the
the cars
possibility. I have
are,
to go to
the,
these.
like, this,
cars,
the
like,
cars, the
what if a car,
building
what
is
if a car
blocking
loses
the
control?
lane.
I'm not
Right,
buying
what
the
if a car loses
backyard,
control,
so-
they'll break right through my
I'm not buying
backyard,
the
I didn't break
backyard,
to the
I'm not
fence.
buying the backyard, I'm not
I
buying
mean,
the
that's always a possibility, you have a straight
back
line.
to-
Car could lose control
Something
on
this
your
wide.
line.
But that's acceptable worse I can take in the
Well,
front,
that's
I
a
don't think,
start.
I don't want to bring that
If we
behind me.
went back to that,
Okay,
then
I'm
you
just
do
trying to,
have
well,
these
I'm
I
trying
get
to
it.
get
I get it.
the fence
I
out.
see what you're
This
saying.
This line
If
could be-
you're
That fence
saying
be
is
broken
this,
through to it. That
if
fence
these,
doesn't mean
if
something.
these yards or these
These
yards, we're
backyards
facing
could
this, the yards are
theoretically
facing
become
this
some
way.
type of a subdivision.
Right?
I don't wanna say.
So the
this.
back,
You're gonna get a
these
phone
think
call,
they're
they don't
yards
have the
are in
width.
back,
Right.
are
And you
facing
have to
our
take the
yards
houses.
here.
Because my friend,
So this
she's,
building is now,
at the end of my
do you understand what I'm
and
saying?
her property's probably like.
She's
Yeah.
trying to
A
build it.
private-
Turn it.
a
She
private-
can't build another
Building
home.
around, then you
Well, you
bus
have to
drivers.
blow
That's
out
why
these
it's for this,
houses.
because then
And you have to, for a private road.
Well, here's how many units is here? How many?
Okay.
How many?
You have a
1, 2,
private
3,
road
4,
at
5, 6,
120
7,
feet.
right?
You got
7 yards
95
here?
feet a lot done.
Okay.
You could
But
put
this little
houses on a
building-
private road.
That way.
For
So
these
these
two,
little.
you couldn't do it
Just
here.
talked about cutting this off.
The only, this,
But
this,
how is it
All
not
this is a problem, all this is a problem.
But
When
like,
neighbors
we're
here,
not gonna
what is
go
it for
back.
anybody? Just like
Here,
here,
it's
go back
always-
to the kid.
Like, it's-
Okay, I'm telling you as a point that,
People, bringing people in.
you don't have to live within yourself either, you don't have to.
I think this is gonna be fun.
It doesn't mean it's.
We're not against you. The reason we brought everybody here,
And how many people they're
we're
gonna.
trying to accommodate your interests.
I don't,
We're
I
trying.
understand your concern. But you
Okay.
should, I have met many neighbors all over this island who have no concerns.
That's
And I was trying to get the jobs
Listen,
that I
some people
work
that wanna
on.
come in, they want
I
to,
have to
they would
see
do
that
to the, come in
Where
and to the town. Okay, I came down here to give you the courtesy, no, but you should also know, I'm one of the people that are working hard to make sure this doesn't
are
happen.
not designed for this
Yeah,
night.
okay, well, you should,
And
well,
also,
this
they're typically not, and also they're typically
Those
not.
Like, it's one thing if you say, I'm coming to you, this is that,
I've driven stuff.
okay, you can't.
No, it's hard to believe that you framed it any differently than you framed it.
They read the petition, okay?
It's hard for me to believe that you framed it.
You have to make an argument. Making an argument. They understood what you're building, it's like, no. I'm trying to explain to you, it's not, I have to go convince you. And I'm telling you that the people that's in the homes, the people in the homes,
There's no
they didn't believe. I went around the street, okay, you understand? I didn't go around speaking around now. I brought this exact picture, I went to everybody with my picture. I showed them exactly where it's at.
There's
I
no
showed them everything up the
driving
street.
4 feet.
I showed you the house is at. This is Rainbow, this is Sunshine. This is like, but you had to know where it's at.
Well, Miranda did this. You just seen it. But we can flip that around.
The seniors it is.
I'm not
So,
around.
So they make me do recreation facilities.
Yeah, let me-
Experience.
Why don't you bring that, mention that to your neighbor, right?
I did, but my whole concern is,
Different.
Yeah.
the town is probably gonna end up with those apartments.
But we want this, we're trying to accommodate you as best we can. We really are.
What I can do,
Asking about the view,
see how this background is, see how this building is? I can bring this building, this,
Did, what is that development?
so now all this is back here.
Yeah,
That's your backyard, that would be backyard, yeah, that would be the.
Now you're not looking at
I can
no
check if you want.
You're looking at no cost. You're looking at the back of the house or back.
We went through that.
I said this
Relatively similar as I remember.
The fact that you didn't need a backyard, if your backyard, that's your backyard is in the woods. Around the backyard, you need, I'm thinking about the home in that.
No, well, we increased all this buffer.
Yeah, I mean, we would probably, you know, we put it at the gate in a lot of places.
Tell me what you want. I want this to go, you don't want it to go. How do we get it to go?
You know what I'm talking about.
I did that job.
It's not gonna happen. You go out and you go out, you go out too far. You build something apparently you built down in.
Well, I can even get.
It's not on the water, it's not
We can
covered.
easily
It's
just.
something that's more like.
My
It's
suggestion
not on the
would be
water.
not to
So even you make
complicate
That's
the road.
something type of house.
No, it says, we
Whatever
come off
apartment you
the
want.
county line.
Yeah, I could put it, look at
34,
the size of
38,
this.
38.
Okay.
You know, I know, my suggestion would be allow for public vehicles.
With a bulk price, they pay $3,000.
So if someone's turning a
Saying you
hole,
build something of that, so you would, so, the reason I say that, so you bring in somebody that will also be in line of buying a house.
But let me tell you what happened. I built a nice product like that. And now I can get so much here.
it's 60 feet away.
Now you got.
Okay.
You know, I can easily see
But you don't know.
You can't afford it.
Yeah, that's right.
And
And that's the whole
no, no.
thing. You know what?
There's other pay some assumptions, haven't you?
No.
Consumers.
If I overbuild,
That they
now,
have their number. The kids.
I gotta roll the rent, pay them out I gotta build the area for quality space.
You know what?
There's plenty of room.
Quality
to do
base
that
on
this
that
lot.
section. Quality
Because
base
it's
is
what?
an old man.
I also have plenty of room here
I don't go
to allow a car,
It's up.
to allow a car, I
Already
get
up
3
line.
lanes
And that's
plus
what I meant.
parking.
Okay.
That's
You
why
want
I'm
4
going
people
on.
with wide, and that's, and
Yeah, I
that's
think
bigger.
that accomplishes.
Yes, so
Okay,
let
but that's
the travel
your
lanes on the
different
Long
quality
Island
life versus what I
Expressway
want as quality
are
of life.
between 11 and
It's not
12
what
feet
happens.
wide.
Look,
With
so
all
let's
that traffic, the
compromise.
parking stalls.
Well, I said, if you got to build, I said, we said to you, why did you build comparable? So you have to bring in
right
high
here.
net
I
worth
just put
people.
gates somewhere in this area.
People that can afford to live in a
Allow
luxury
people to,
2-bedroom apartment.
town, let me have 2 bedrooms.
Get in
Before
the
they
seat and
get
you
out
have
of
to
here,
Or
get
fancy
in.
1-bedroom
And
apartment.
that's
right.
right.
That's right. 1-bedroom
Right.
apartment. I don't want to say I'm the architect and change everything. You have to, what you do. I'm telling you that we feel, the community feels disrespected that you
You know what
went
I'm
before
saying?
this.
Put the
81
gate there,
units
like,
in
oh,
this
it's like a
small
gate.
area.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, smaller,
It's
not
not-
in a little
I
bit.
know the size of the area. You can
There is
tell
one,
us
there
what you
is
think
one,
they wrote.
So that they're not
I took their property on the back. But I didn't know that. I knew you were coming from, I was certified to be a house and everything. I guess I'm very, very not. But you want to stay home there, so you can stand. Okay, that's not a terrible. If you want to use as an example, that would impact the price of things. Okay, but you also look at the fact that the homes that most of the homes were model homes.
I grew up in
Four of them,
Florida,
which I visited. Okay, so that's the majority. There's a whole section here that's from the house, 2 more houses. That's in the boat table. Outside the fact that it has 20-foot high schools, they're fully grown evergreens in the backyard. It's been there way before. Third of all, people who brought into this area had an opportunity to decide if they wanted to live there. I'm not getting a choice. Okay, you're coming in, I get no choice. Okay, I get nothing. Okay? Plus the fact that, no, well, that's not.
I know, I don't want to stop the
decision.
Right, I think that's good.
I mean, it's not, we're gonna fight, then after the fight, okay, with dust settled, then we can see where it's going. Man, I've asked them down the road how things play out. Okay, so there's a lot more steps you gotta go through before it's done. Okay, and
But
then
you're not gonna get what happened is
so at this time, we're fighting this, so I'm trying to tell you
They did, but
that.
I think those
Okay,
numbers
as far as the
were,
community
They were
stands.
high,
They
they
were-
were high.
they were
They were
too
low
high
high.
to begin with.
This you
They all
proposed, why there's so much
beautiful, but they
anger about
they,
it.
they,
Okay,
they
people
pulled
not
money
happy
out of the
because
finishings, I know, and
we
they
feel
had
you took
trouble
the cheap way
selling
out.
them.
They haven't seen.
There's been a lot of issues.
Only person the person already in.
We haven't seen.
It's interesting,
That project
where's
on
the other
the
development on the other side of us? Where are those,
They got the cheap.
what have they said?
What,
Across.
Yeah, they-
they went down.
Yeah.
Sandwich wise, and layout wise.
No,
it was good.
I'm just trying to get a feel.
lives in there, and she went in
The
there,
developers,
changed
the
the
guy who
blue lines
originally
into there
built,
because she
not
thought she
Rackett
wanted to
You'll
do
give
it
up?
all nonsense.
Bob Tucci.
Like
Bob Tucci owns
Same
thousands,
nonsense as in
thousands,
blue lines.
thousands.
The nonsense,
Right.
the nonsense I'm gonna control. I'm just trying to get a feel on a pyramid. You're saying, if you made this like a Dominican village,
But they weren't
okay, that type of living
reasonably
situation. If you listen, I'm giving you what I'm trying to say to you.
And
This is
so
out of
he had
step.
issues, right?
You have to also understand, you're dealing with,
Job.
but you can't do that. No, I know, listen, I understand what you have to respect the client. And you
Always gonna do that. That was wrong.
The ground floor, okay?
I take care of those,
I
but when it
ride
gets
through there.
smaller house.
I do all the lawn maintenance.
On those.
I know every owner there. I know
But
you.
you know,
So why, if they're your client,
Why
why would you, they don't want this.
Right.
Ken Russell said,
Slaughtery
that's
estate.
Ken Russell,
Not
said,
about
another person said,
how-
was against
The
this
one
project.
that's right for Slagle, and,
Okay, I spoke to
Albany
his
Avenue,
secretary about it.
they have a gate.
They've already been on the record there.
Is that
Those-
small words, John?
Okay,
Those
Sister
houses,
Mary is the
my
director at
Those
Political
houses
Task, she's
before-
against it.
No, they're
They don't want this.
I think it's cost because they didn't endorse it.
They're newer than out.
I know the townhouse.
Secretary.
But they were misled and they're poisonous. That's why.
He's getting the fire. You know who he is.
No, I don't. I really
You
don't.
know what King Ross is?
Yeah, it's a different type of Joyce Town. But I'm gonna reject it. It was also a
Right to there.
That job.
Dominican Village.